Welcome to yet another episode of Tryst with Statecraft. This is your host Shubhi Dubey, publishing editor at Project Statecraft, a youth-led, non-partisan policy think tank. In this episode, we'll delve deep into the crucial topic of gender equity in technology access, challenges, and opportunities for livelihood. Stay tuned as we uncover insights and strategies to bridge the gender gap and foster inclusivity in the world of technology. Shedding light on the topic, we have our speaker Mousumi Kabiraj, who is a research analyst in the Powering Livelihoods team at Council on Energy, Environment and Water. She is involved in research in the field of gender inclusion among energy livelihood businesses. Lovely to have you, ma'am, with us. Would you like to just give a quick introduction about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Shubhi, and thanks for having me in today's episode. I would like to first commend Project Statecraft's effort in taking this initiative and having a series on gender and technology access, especially in the livelihood space, which I feel is the pressing priority. And I'm really thrilled to be a part of this series. Just giving a quick introduction, which I feel is not needed, as you have already introduced me. So, hello everyone, I am Mousumi Kabiraj. I work with Council on Energy, Environment and Water as a research analyst with the Powering Livelihoods team. And my research area focuses on gender inclusion and making the program more gender inclusive in the clean energy space. Thanks.
All right, Mousumi. So, to begin with, I'd like to ask you, what is the current state of gender equity in technology access, especially regarding livelihood opportunities? What are the key challenges that women particularly face in accessing and using technology to enable their livelihoods?
I feel that's quite a broader and great question. So, when we talk about technologies, we all know the significant role it plays in human development, especially for women communities, be it livelihood, be it education or health. It provides equal benefits to all genders. But the main question is the access of technologies equal for all? Now, giving you a quick example from the agriculture sector. There are several studies that says if women, especially from the rural communities and women farmers, are provided with technological and digital services, their farm yield can increase up to 20 to 30%, which is definitely contributing significantly in the food security, right? But on the other side, that there is a very beautiful study conducted on gender and technology in Bangladesh. And the study was conducted comprising several farmers, both men and women. And the study says that 65% of the respondents mentioned that women farmers still prefer to use old and traditional farming technologies. And the major reason was that there are very few type of machinery equipments that are convenient for women farmers. And I guess this is the case with every developing nation. Now, moving ahead on our day-to-day technologies, for example, mobile phones or laptops. So there is a study conducted by ORF in India, which suggests that only 50 to 55% of women in India, they use technologies or mobile phones by themselves. That is, they are the owner of that mobile phone. And only 22% of the women using mobile phones are engaged in financial or digital transactions. And this is the case when we are talking about digital India for all. So these are just a few case studies or examples which I wanted to highlight to make the audience understand what is the status quo of women and tech adoption. And I would say that there lies n number of challenges that restrict women in entering the technology field or the STEM field. Now, answering your second question, that is trying to unfold some of the key challenges that women face in technology adoption are. So, I'll generally explain the challenges by considering an example of a fictional character named Rita. She is a woman farmer from a remote village in India. So the first and which she will face is the lack of awareness and accessibility of the modern technologies. Okay. So Rita stays in a remote location or the last periphery in India. To be updated on the modern technology is quite difficult for her. Now consider, even if she is aware of that modern technology, say solar refrigerator or solar dryer, which can add value to her livelihood. So now the next challenge would be how the technology will reach to her doorstep. The other challenge, if we say, is the lack of confidence and motivation among women to use modern technology. For example, even if Rita gets solar dryer, but the technology being new and due to limited skill and education on using modern technologies, Rita will hesitate to use that technology and adopt it. And then she'll again go back to her either manual or traditional technologies. Now, moving ahead, per se, even if we cover all the challenges or cater all the restrictions to purchase the modern technology, which could be capital intensive, Rita needs financing. And we all know that it's quite a cumbersome process for a woman to avail loans from financing institutions. Either it could be due to lack of collaterals, asset, or limited financing knowledge. So these are some of the broader challenges that women face in adopting tech. Apart from this, we have several social barriers which amplify the gender divide in technology access, either limited mobility or the power dynamics within the household. So yes, financing, social, cultural, and mental barriers are some of the key challenges that needs to be addressed.
Great, Mousumi. That was quite a data-backed answer, and I think our audience would particularly like that example to understand this topic better. On coming to the next question on similar lines, how does unequal access to technology impact gender equity in various aspects of life, including education, employment, and healthcare? And how do you think adopting modern technologies can help enable sustainable livelihoods for rural women?
Yeah, I think that it is a very significant question, and it is important to understand that how the lack or unequal access of technology, can impact women not only in the economic or livelihood space, but also in other areas such as healthcare, education, and others. Now, let us assume that there is a triangle with healthcare, education and skill, and livelihood as its three vertices. If we talk about healthcare, that nowadays we all know that how telehealth or patient portals or virtual consultations is providing quick and offer access to healthcare systems. Especially, we all have realized this during the COVID lockdown or COVID period. And this can actually remove barriers such as transportation challenge or mobility. But when we consider gender digital divide, it is disproportionately impacting women from rural areas. So this was about the healthcare challenge. Now, if we consider the second vertex of the triangle, which is education and skill and development. So I was reading an article on India Today, so which has very comprehensively explained the correlation of the shift which has happened during the lockdown from online classes to virtual classes, and the gender-based divide that has made the situation worse for the female candidates or female students to pursue their studies. Now, if we consider talk about the skill development and training, the lack of access to regular technologies like mobile phone, laptops, it restricts women to get registered into online course, enhance their skill, or get knowledge, and it is restricting them to compete in the employment state, which again is adversely impacting their confidence. Now coming to the last vertex, which is livelihood. But I have seen or I have observed in my work life that lack of access to modern technologies, it leads to low productivity, low income, and women from rural areas, they keep continuing the manual labor or the physical tasks, such as fodder collection or fuel wood collection, which, at the end is sparing no leisure time for her to get enrolled in skill development or training program, and that ultimately leads to time poverty for her. Now, how adopting these modern technologies, can help women? So we need such technologies, or such technologies should be provided to women, which can actually provide them with the home-based entrepreneurship opportunities. Uh, I feel in this we have several clean tech solutions, such as I've already mentioned, like solar dryers, solar pumps, or solar refrigerators, which is significantly impacting women's income and productivity. And they are sustainable. And why they are sustainable? Firstly, because they run on solar, and the women are no more dependent on erratic power supply. And the modern mechanization is also reducing their drudgery. If I can give a quick anecdote, let me share a story of Puni Devuri, who is a silk reeler and trainer from a very remote village in Keonjhar, Odisha. So she is a user of silk reeling machines, and simultaneously she also trains young women from her locality on silk reeling. So explaining the benefit of solar silk reeling machine, Tuniji says that these technologies, after using these technologies, the women from her community are no longer dependent on erratic power supply. Their productivity has doubled. They have experienced increase in their income, and this machine have also relieved them from the thigh reeling process. So she was also featured in Man Ki Baat by Pradhan Mantri Modi ji in 2022. So yes, these modern technologies, I believe, is actually a game changer, especially in rural areas for women communities.
Right, Mosmi. You were right that these modern technologies are definitely a game changer, and more women, specifically from the rural area must, accept them and make their life easier while working for themselves and towards the community. Coming to the third question, you talked about digital divide. So, on those similar lines, considering the digital divide in India, how can we ensure that technology access is not just limited to urban areas, but also reaches women in remote and rural regions? How does digital literacy help play an important role here?
Yes, that's very true. I feel lack of awareness and lack of accessibility of technologies needs to be catered if we really want to bridge the digital and technology gaps, especially in rural areas. But for this, the step should be based on the hyperlocal steps. For example, conducting event and melas, giving live, technology demonstration, especially in rural areas, could be one of the potential solutions. Organizing hyperlocal events, it provides multiple benefits to rural women. Firstly, by taking the technologies to women, instead of waiting for them to discover the product by their own, it is actually catering to their mobility challenge. These events also provide better technology understanding via live touch and feel experience, improving both their confidence and this decision making process to purchase the product. The other potential solution could be, the successful women role models. They can play an important role in promoting, tech adoption among other local women and building their confidence. We can leverage the existing women user who are using these technologies and can deploy them as demo champion. And then this can act as a multiplier effect. Giving or sharing another small story of Parmila ji. So Parmila ji is a farmer from a very small village in Bikaner, Rajasthan, and she is engaged in cattle rearing. She is a user of a modern technology called solar powered hydroponic fodder unit. And what this technology does, it actually grows green fodder for cattle using very little or very less water and land. So, what are the experiences that Parmila ji has observed after using the technology is that it has increased both the quantity and quality of the milk that is produced by the cattle. She also says that this machine has also, saved her time and labor, which she earlier used to spend on collecting green fodders. Now, after realizing the economic and social benefit that this modern technology is providing to her, she now aims to generate awareness among other women. And for this, she is conducting product demonstration within her local community. So as of now, in this span of 2 to 3 years, she has been able to, mobilize or create awareness among 400 to 450 local women. I believe that she is the real role model for other women in her community. And personally, I also feel when women see other women using technologies, earning a sustainable income, it instills immense confidence among them. And answering your second question about digital intervention, yes, digital intervention could also play an important role here. For example, creating the technology videos, how it is used, how to, how the technology can be used for livelihoods, creating collaterals, and then capturing success stories and sharing them online, either via social media or WhatsApp, can create a great or immense awareness among rural women. But again, there is a caveat here, which I feel is important, that designing gender inclusive collateral is essential rather than just product specific marketing collaterals. Having gender inclusive collaterals can create a connect between women and the technologies. So yes, conducting hyperlocal events, deploying women demo champions, or gender inclusive collaterals could be some of the potential steps one can take.
Great, Mosmi. That those were some great solutions towards this problem of bridging the technology access between urban areas and rural areas, and how digital literacy does play an important role here. What do you think? What policies and strategies can governments implement to promote gender equity in technology access and ensure that gender equality persists and provide equal opportunities to thrive in the digital age? Can you please share some examples and learnings from your work at Powering Livelihoods program?
Yeah, sure. So for this, I would first like to answer your second question, that is giving a brief detail about the program Powering Livelihood, and then connect it with your first question. So Powering Livelihood is a program, that aims to promote livelihoods of rural communities, especially women. And how we are doing this? This is done by promoting, clean energy-based solutions. Uh, Same solutions which I had mentioned earlier: solar pumps, solar cool storages, etc. So within the program, we have tried to make an inclusive gender integration. And what we aim is to not only have women as a passive user of these technologies, but also as employees and value chain partner in the clean energy space. So to integrate gender in each and every aspect of the program, we work mainly at 3 levels. That is, firstly, supporting the women users to adopt this technology and also sustain their business by providing market linkage support. As a second level, we also support enterprises, that are manufacturing these technologies. And the support we provide is to make them or make their business gender inclusive. At the third or last level, we aim to strengthen the ecosystem engagement and foster partnership and convergence among different stakeholders, such as financiers, government, policymakers. And how we are doing this? It is done by generating evidence on the business and the social and economical impact of these technologies. So within the program, we are extensively engaging with policymakers, both at the national and state level. And during the program, we have realized that these these stakeholders, such as policymakers and government, they play a vital role in promoting gender equity in technology access. Now, how or what are some of the few crucial steps that these policymakers, can take to promote gender equity, especially to bridge the gap of the digital and technology access divide? First, whenever a policy is designed, it is essential to promote a gender inclusive policies. That is, the effort needs to be taken to separately integrate gender instead of considering it as a default. For example, giving a brief context what we have done in the Powering Livelihood program. So we have supported MNRE. MNRE is Ministry of New and Renewable Energy in drafting a policy framework for promoting, DRE-based livelihood applications. So DRE stands for decentralized renewable energy, and these technologies are run on renewable energy, such as solar, hydro, wind, etc. So within this policy framework, we have ensured that there is an explicit focus on women, especially in these sections such as program or policy objective and scope, financing mechanisms, and the need for skill development and capacity building. So that's one. Other what I feel is essential is integration of modern technologies within livelihood schemes and programs. But for this, what we need is the convergence of several ministries that is working on promoting livelihood, such as MSME, MORD, and also Ministry of Women and Child Development. And why this convergence is essential is to have a better buy-in. Apart from the above two, what is equally essential is that policymakers must design a robust monitoring mechanism to collect and analyze sex disaggregated data. Disaggregated data, this is essential to finally understand and realize the impact of technologies that it has on men and women separately, so that these policymakers, they can course correct the schemes and policies from time to time. So three important, steps that I feel is essential is promoting gender inclusive policies and schemes. Second, integrating these modern technologies in the livelihood schemes. And third, collecting sex disaggregated data.
Since you work so intensively with in such a program, what are the various actionable steps that each stakeholder, such as financiers, government, NGOs, etc., take to promote gender equity in technology access and ensure that gender equality persists and provides equal opportunity?
So before answering this question, so I would say that gender inequality or the missing woman concept that we have in labor force or energy space or in tech industry, I would say is a wicked problem to solve. And one needs to understand that gender equality or mainstreaming women is not just the task of one institution or one stakeholder. And each actor in the ecosystem, whatever you have mentioned, such as policymakers, financiers, civil societies, they have their role to play. For instance, if we consider financiers, then I feel financiers need to increase their risk appetite, and they must unlock financing for women to adopt and support them to adopt these technologies. This can be done by simplifying the documentation process or providing them with interest subventions. The other steps that I feel is crucial and financials can take is deploying women retail agents, or in technical we call it women business correspondents. This will not only help build trust among women borrowers, but it will also provide financing to rural women at the doorstep. Next, I feel the other important stakeholder is technology manufacturers. Uh, One of the key challenge which women face in adopting technology is that technology are not designed in a woman friendly manner. So these technology manufacturers, they also need to actively take feedback from their women users to ensure that their products are designed in a woman friendly manner. Giving an example of an enterprise which we are supporting within our program Powering Livelihoods called Hydro Greens. So what they manufacture is a solar powered hydroponic fodder unit which grows fodder in that machine for the cattle. So after conducting a quick study with their existing women users, these enterprise they realized that the height and the weight of the trays of the machines is not aligning well to women's height and the load capacity they can carry. So conducting these kind of studies and understanding the needs and preferences of the women users, it will accelerate the tech adoption among women users. Next, when we talk about civil society organizations or NGOs, they play a very crucial role in generating awareness and increasing accessibility of these technologies to rural women. Other we have skill building institutions, which I feel is that along with providing financial and entrepreneurial training to rural women, they can also have a course or modules that how these modern technologies can be applied for livelihood, and they can support them in designing business models around these technologies. And policymakers, yes, they must bring gender lens in designing policies and schemes to enable tech adoption. I feel that this year's India's G20 presidency, the decision which several countries have taken on creating a working group on the empowerment of women and the changing the narrative from women development to women-led development, it can bring positive results. But yes, patience matters a lot. What I feel is gender integration is not a day or not a year task. It requires solutions to break the deep-rooted social and cultural barriers. It is a long journey, or if I could modify, it is a long and bumpy journey.
Mousumi, those were some great insights in this topic of gender equity in technology access, challenges, and opportunities for livelihood. Definitely, the divide in gender access still exists. However, as you mentioned, the interaction between various stakeholders and focusing on different genders specifically, the anecdotes and the examples that you've shared were quite informative, and we hope that our audience would like this podcast episode. Hoping to have you again as a speaker at Project Statecraft podcast series. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Sumi, for having me in this episode. And